We are getting ready to start the meeting. If anyone has any special intentions, please come up to the mic. I have two. Any of my colleagues have any? I will go first. Okay. I would like to ask for your prayers and your support for two individuals who I am proud to say that they were my friends. We were friends of the family. One individual, Mr. J.C. Ross, who has come to the council on numerous occasions, representing the Lincoln Manor subdivision and the Lincoln Manor Civic Association. Mr. Ross has been involved with the Recreation Department for over 30 years. He is deceased, gone to our Lord and Savior. We ask for your support, your prayers for him and his family. The second individual is also a good friend of mine, a mentor, an individual who has been involved in the city of Kenner for many years in numerous situations. His name is Mr. Wilbert Leo Ledette. Mr. Ledette has been a parishioner of Our Lady Perpetual Help for over 60 years. He has been an usher at Our Lady Perpetual Help for almost as long. He is a member of the Knights of Columbus Stewart Council. He is a member of the Holy Name Society, a member of the Lions Club, a retired service manager for Alto Mobile Homes. He's married to Miss Dolores DeSalle Ledette. He is preceding in death by his son, Wilbur, and he has 5 daughters. I ask that you keep them in your prayers and their families in our name and Savior, Jesus Christ.
Sure that we remember all of those who've been killed by terrorist attacks in Paris recently, in Paris, France. So many families have been torn apart. We need to keep them in our prayers as well, and hope that the many atrocities that are taking place throughout the world, that they will somehow cease to exist, and that we start to work together throughout the world for peace. Thank you.
Also, we would like to pray for Mr. Frank Bonino.
Yeah, Ms. Bonino worked for the city for 30 years, and her husband passed, Frank Bonino, so we'd like to keep that family in our prayers.
Absolutely.
Is there anyone else with any other special intentions? If not, Councilman Reno, would you please lead us in the prayer?
If we can begin in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Father in heaven, creator of all and source of all goodness and love, please look kindly upon us and receive our heartfelt gratitude in this time of giving thanks. Thank you for all the graces and blessings you have bestowed upon us, spiritual and temporal, our faith and our religious heritage, our food and shelter, our health, the loves we have for one another, our family and friends. Dear Father, in your infinite generosity, please grant us continued graces and blessings throughout the coming year. We ask this in Jesus' name, amen.
Councilman Segura, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum this evening. In accordance with Council Resolution Number B14550, please be advised that all cellular telephones, pagers, beepers, and other devices of this nature must be deactivated or silenced throughout the council meeting. Under the consent agenda this evening, we have item 1, approval of minutes, the regular council meeting of November 5th, 2015. Item 2 is approval of alcoholic beverage permit applications. We have none. Item 3 is approval of bingo and public gathering applications. Item 3A is application number 1923/15, the City of Kenner to hold a public gathering on November 28th, 29th, 2015, December 4th, 5th, 6th, 13th, 14th, 15th, 18th, 19th, and 20th of 2015, from 5:30 to 8:30 for the purpose of a Christmas village at Kenner Heritage Park in Kenner, Louisiana. That will conclude your consent agenda this evening, sir.
Motion by Councilman Conley, second by Councilwoman DeFranchis for the consent agenda. consent agenda. Councilwoman, please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 for your consent agenda. Under the public appearance agenda this evening, we have item 9, public hearings for final passage. Item 9A is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,949. An ordinance amending ordinance number 2427 adopted by the City of Kenner, Louisiana on December 4th, 1978, entitled Comprehensive Zoning Ordinance of the City of Kenner, more particularly amending and rezoning Lot 10A, Square 20A, Kenner Heights subdivision in Kenner, Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, from a split zoning of RR1, single-family residential, and C1, neighborhood commercial, to a uniform zoning of C1, neighborhood commercial, and directing, authorizing, and empowering the planning director for the City of Kenner to alter and amend the official zoning map of the City of Kenner.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to open the public hearing. Mr. Hebert, do you have a,
One more vote, sir.
that'll be me.
There we go. Your motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing. You have a presentation this evening by the Planning Department.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. The applicant is Robert Mouton on behalf of Altel Communications LLC, and the owner of the property is Altel Communications LLC. Lot 10A was created by way of a 1998 re-subdivision. It's an L-shaped lot. It fronts Williams Boulevard to the west and is bounded by 11th Street to the north, 10th Street to the south, and Compromise Street to the east. The lot consists of 51,300 square feet and is developed with a two-story brick commercial office building along with associated parking lot. The building is currently vacant. It was previously used as a facility for Altel and Verizon Communications. The properties within the vicinity of the lot that front along Williams Boulevard is zoned C1 neighborhood commercial, and they primarily contain neighborhood commercial uses, while the properties fronting Compromise Street to the east are zoned RR1 single-family residential and primarily consist of single-family dwellings. The parking lot of the development fronts Williams Boulevard and is located on that portion of the site that's zoned C1 neighborhood commercial. The building is located east of the parking lot on that portion of the lot that is zoned RR1 single-family residential. The building's main entrance faces Williams Boulevard. Vehicular access to the site is from 10th and 11th Streets. There is no public ingress or egress point leading into the site from Compromise Street. The existing building was constructed and designed for non-residential use. Due to the current split zoning of the property, the building may only be used for uses that are permitted in the RR1 district. The applicant has applied to rezone that portion of the property that's zoned RR1 to C1 in an effort to provide the lot with a consistent, uniform zoning designation and use the site for neighborhood commercial purposes. Now, while researching the history of the property zoning, the 1972 City of Kenner zoning map shows Square 20 is being split zone RR1 single-family residential to the east and GO general office to the west. And in 1998, that same year that the lot was created, the west portion of the square was rezoned from general commercial to C1 neighborhood commercial. The east portion of the square retained its RR1 zoning designation. Now, upon review on September 23rd, the Planning Commission recommended approval.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to close the public hearing. Oh, I apologize. Yes, sir. Your name and address, please.
My name is Robert Mouton. I'm with the law firm of Lockboard. I'm representing Altel Communications, DBA, Verizon, and we're the owners of the subject property. We've applied for the rezoning of that classification just to address this split zoning classification. It, as was just mentioned, it happened historically, and we're in the process of trying to get the property sold so it can be put to the marketplace with a proper zoning classification for the entire parcel. So that is the reason for the request, and I would respectfully request that the council approve the rezoning so that the property can be properly put into commerce as a usable piece of real estate.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Segura, would you like to say anything?
Not right now. I'll come in after. I mean, I just wanted to comment on what he just said. They are going
Okay.
to sell the properties.
We'll close the public hearing, and then you'll be able to. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to close the public hearing. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing.
Thank you. Councilman Segura, you have the floor.
Got to move first.
Oh, please vote.
No, move. I move to put it on the floor.
Motion by Councilmember
Oh,
Segura, second by Councilmember
I thought I
Reno
said
for
that.
approval.
Yes, thank you. This piece of property, as Mr. Hebert has presented, goes back many, many years in this designation. And for anyone who may not recognize it, it was generally used by AT&T as a switch center for phone service during these many, many years. And then they sold it to Verizon for their continuation of switching services. And then apparently Verizon probably did not need it as much as they needed it anymore, so they ceased the service of switching there. They now have an offer to purchase this land by Jefferson Financial Credit Union, who intends and wishes to use it as a data center. So it's no retail space going to go there. It's just more similar to what was there before, computer servers and things of that nature. So there's no real retail traffic coming and going. It's just the employees of the data service that will be there. Probably a whole lot less than when Verizon and AT&T had it. So that's where this property is headed, and in the same format that it has been for all these many years. Just changing the zoning is just to allow the sale to take place, because there was a lapse in time when they quit using it, and they now got to get it rezoned so they can sell it. So again, that's why I would ask all my colleagues to, again, approve it so that Verizon can sell it and we can put it back into use, but not any different than what it is being used in the past. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to accept. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9B is summary ordinance number 11,950. An ordinance declaring no longer needed for public purposes and approving the sale of lots 8 through 11 and 38 through 41, square 414, Highway Park subdivision in Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, to Waffle House Incorporated for the sum of $370,000.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to open the public hearing. Councilman, please vote.
Is
One
there a
more.
public hearing? There's no public hearing.
One more to open your hearing, please. Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing. You have a presentation tonight by the Planning Department.
Thank you.
Yes, the applicant is Waffle House Incorporated. The property owner is the city of Kenner. The lots are generally bounded by 25th Street to the north, 24th Street to the south, Williams Boulevard to the east, and Florida Avenue to the west. The lots are currently undeveloped. The property is zoned C2, general commercial. The area contains a mixture of land uses, including commercial, industrial, and multifamily residential. The land to the south is currently undeveloped. Waffle House Incorporated proposes to purchase lots 8 through 11 and 38 through 41 from the city of Kenner for the future development of a restaurant. Each of the lots contains 3,000 square feet, and they measure 25 feet by 120 feet, equaling a total area of 24,000 square feet. The former public alley contains 1,500 square feet and measures 15 feet by 100. So the total site area to be purchased is 25,500 square feet. With regards to utilities, correspondence has been received from all utility companies indicating that there are no facilities located within the subject site and have no objection to the sale of the property. The city of Kenner also has indicated that the subject lots are not needed for a public purpose. An appraisal was performed on September 11th, 2015, estimating the fair market value of the property to be $370,000. The applicant is proposing to purchase the property at $370,000. The city of Kenner obtained the services of an appraisal themselves to conduct a review of the appraisal. The review concluded that the value of the appraisal is supported and is recommended for acceptance. On September 23rd, the Planning Commission recommended approval.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. Are there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak during the public hearing?
I'm sorry. Oh, okay.
Seeing none. Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to close the public hearing. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing.
Motion by Councilman Segura, second by Councilman Reno to accept. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9C is summary ordinance number 11,951. In order to approving the lease of portions of parcel Y containing 2 existing general advertising signs, University City Subdivision in Kenner Jefferson Parish, Louisiana, to Outfront Media LLC for the initial sum of $18,000 per year with periodic escalations over the term of the lease.
Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilman Klein to open the public hearing. Please vote.
One more? 2 more? 1 more? Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to open your hearing.
Is there a presentation?
Yes, there is.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert.
The applicant is Outfront Media LLC. The owner of the property is the city of Kenner. Parcel Y contains the city's sewer treatment plant number 3, which is located in the northeast quadrant of the intersection of I-10 and the Jefferson Parish-St. Charles Parish line. The subject includes 2 portions of land on parcel Y, each consisting of 1,925 square feet and measuring 35 feet by 55 feet, oriented adjacent to the north right-of-way line of Interstate 10. Outfront Media has historically leased and occupied the 2 sites from the city for outdoor advertisement. Outfront Media wishes to renew their lease with the city of Kenner in order to continue using the subject site as a location for the existing general advertising signs, since the sites are already improved for outdoor advertisement use. Correspondence has been received from all utility companies indicating no objection to the alienation. Also, the city of Kenner has indicated that the subject portions of parcel Y are not needed for a public purpose. An appraisal was performed on behalf of the applicant dated August 19th, 2015, estimating the annual fair market lease rate at $18,000 per year. The city of Kenner obtained the assistance of Murphy Appraisal Services to conduct an appraisal review. The review concluded that the appraisal appears to be well supported for acceptance. On September 23rd, the Planning Commission recommended approval.
Thank you, Mr. Hebert. Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilman Klein to close the public hearing. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 to close your hearing.
Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilman Klein to accept. Please vote. Hold on. So yes, Councilwoman DeFranchise, you may ask a question.
Mr. Aber. Sorry. All right, Mr. Aber, am I not correct in understanding that there were signs there already in the past? So we're not trying to put new signs in a place that, I just want to make sure that the public understands that we're not trying to put new signs in a place where it would not be approved or that had not previously had signs. Am I correct?
That's correct. This is more of a release of the property.
I just wanted to make sure everyone understood that. Thank you so much.
Councilman Impastato, you have the floor.
Yeah, I was just, I guess, a little slow on the draw to my colleague, but yeah, this is not the installation of any new signage. It's the current signs. Although the legislation says University City, which technically it is, it's actually at the treatment plant abutting the interstate, and so this is certainly a good, advantageous proposal for the city of Kenner, and so I'd ask that all of you support this legislation.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilman Klein to accept. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 9D is a public hearing regarding summary ordinance number 11,965, an ordinance amending the 2015-2016 capital budget to budget funds received from the BP settlement. Mr. Chairman, we've received a request this evening for one meeting deferral on this item, as per Councilman Conley.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Conley to defer, second by Councilman Carroll. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0 for one meeting deferral. Item 10 is opening of bids. We have none this evening. Item 11 is reclassification of zoning for final passage. We have none. Item 12 is other ordinances for final passage. Item 12A is summary ordinance number 11,964. An ordinance declaring surplus movable property no longer needed for public purposes, authorizing the property to be sold at public auction on December 10, 2015, and providing for related matters.
Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilwoman DeFranchis. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman.
No.
You're right, wrong one, sorry. I'm on 13. Thank you, Keith.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to repeat it again. Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilwoman DeFranchis to accept. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 13 is resolutions and motions by council members. Item 13A is a resolution amending the rules of organization, business, order, and procedure of the council by renumbering Rule 34 to be Rule 34.1 and adding a new Rule 34.2. Mr. Chairman, I've received a request this evening for a one-meeting deferral on this item also.
Thank you. Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Klein to defer. Councilman, to defer, please vote.
Is there?
There isn't any. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 6-1. Councilmember Impastato is opposed. Item 14 is items removed from the consent agenda. We have none. Item 15 is acceptance of contracts and similar matters approved by the mayor. Item 15A is summary ordinance number 11,959, an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Command Construction, LLC, in the amount of $211,925 for the Idaho Avenue drainage improvements between 24th and 25th Street. Phase 2, Facility Planning and Control, FPNC, project number 50-MF1-2-03, City of Kenner project number 2014-009B-DR, in accordance with seal bid number 15-6297 for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Impastato, second by Councilman Conley to accept. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15B is summary ordinance number 11,960. An ordinance authorizing the purchase of 12 PTZ day and night crime cameras and accessories in the amount of $23,676, utilizing state contract number 409133 with Louisiana Tech LLC for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilman Carroll, second by Councilman Conley to accept. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15C is summary ordinance number 11,961, an ordinance approving an increase to an annual expenditure limit established for the purpose for the purchase of ammunition from Barney's Incorporated, Barney's Firearms, utilizing state contract number 409716 for the Kenner Police Department.
Motion by Councilwoman DeFranchis, second by Councilman Klein. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15D is summary ordinance number 11,962. An ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Rainey Electronics Incorporated in the amount of $8,707 to furnish and install a baseball scoreboard system at Wentwood Playground in accordance with letter bid number 15-1539 for the Department of Parks and Recreation.
Motion by Councilwoman Impastato, second by Councilman Carroll. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 15E is summary ordinance number 11,963. An ordinance approving the utilization of Jefferson Parish contract number 55-15011 with Ozark Materials LLC for the purchase of thermoplastic marking materials on an as-needed basis in an amount not to exceed $50,000 annually for the Department of Public Works.
Motion by Councilman Klein, second by Councilman Segura. Please vote.
Mr. Chairman, motion passes 7-0. Item 16 is ordinances and resolutions in summary for first reading. Item 16A is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Fresh Cut Landscaping Incorporated in the amount of $10,883.75 for the furnishing and installation of landscaping at the entrance of South Lake Villages subdivision in accordance with letter bid 15-1540. Item 16B is an ordinance authorizing the purchase of a use of force training simulator for $70,999 from TI Training Corporation for the Kenner Police Department. Item 16C is an ordinance accepting the lowest responsive bid received from Wim Prime Contractor LLC in the amount of $10,855 for the interior demolition work at the city-owned property located at 625 Veterans Boulevard in accordance with telephone bid number T15-2348 for the Department of Community Development. Item 16D is an ordinance amending Section 15-18 of the Code of Ordinances, City of Kenner, Louisiana, relative to a reduction in the speed limit on Bainbridge Avenue from 25th Street to Veterans Boulevard. Item 17 is reports from the council and our special committees.
I don't think we have any. Oh, Councilman Impastato.
And I don't know if this is appropriate at this item of the agenda or not, but I just would like to make a comment with respect to the deferred legislation, the deferred resolution.
I don't think we can discuss the deferment.
I don't agree with that. I believe, and I'd like to ask for a point of order, because I do believe when a request has been made for legislation to be deferred, discussion can be had on the deferral, not on the legislation itself. And I just wanted to explain my position to make sure that it's clear to my council members what the intention was.
Yeah, we never want to stop you from, but Mr. Power, could you please, it's my understanding that on deferral there is no discussion, so can you elaborate more?
Yes, sir, that's, Councilman Impastato is correct in that, and I will read it, it's part of Rule 25. The motion to defer to a time certain is debatable only as to defer or postpone to a time certain. It allows very limited debate. Such debate must not delve into the merits of the subject any more than is necessary for the council to make a judgment about postponement. So the merits of the matter could not be discussed, but the time for deferral could have been discussed, for which I apologize.
That's okay. Councilman.
I'd just like for a little indulgence so I can explain my position.
Yes, sir.
And it simply has to do with, no, this was not a time-sensitive measure. However, it affects every piece of business that the council does now and through whatever time period at which time that legislation is ultimately considered. And so the concern I have is that we could continue to be in a process where a person makes a motion without advising that, in fact, the person who makes the motion is not in favor of the legislation. And that protocol and that practice, which I believe is problematic because it misleads the council and the public as to the position of the council, could continue to persist while the legislation is while we have this resolution under deferral. So I want to explain, just to explain my position, and I'd ask my fellow council members to consider, at worst, that professional protocol whereby we as council members continue, whether it's on a deferral or anything else, to advise that if we make a motion, if we move for something and ask for support on it, yet change our minds, that we just advise publicly of what the issue is.
Well, in my opinion, we are now going into the
I understand. I
deferment.
just wanted to make my
Yeah.
points. That was why I was against the deferral,
Gotcha.
not because out of any lack of courtesy to anyone else on the table, but because this problem would continue to persist in the meantime while it's under consideration. So that's all. So, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll give it to Mike quickly.
So I don't see any more for the reports from the council, Madam Clerk.
Item 18 is new business. We have none. Item 19 is unfinished business and motions to reconsider or remove from a tabled position. We have none. Item 20 is persons wishing to address the council on special subject matters.
Yes, we have a few. Well, hold on. Councilwoman DeFrances, you have the floor.
Actually, this is, I hope, something positive. Mr. Quigley, I believe there's a special event coming to the Pontchartrain Center. It has to do with dinosaurs very soon. Do you know about that event? Or Ms. Newton, do you know about the event?
Obviously, you know about the event. Why don't you tell us about it?
It was actually in the paper. It was actually in the paper, and I'm going to let people read about I'm not going to go into detail, but it's a wonderful event. Children love dinosaurs, and it's a special event, especially for children. They're going to have all kinds of events involving dinosaurs, very, very interactive type events. And I would just like everyone to look forward to it. Maybe we could put a press release at some point about it, but because I think it's something very positive for this city. That's all I was going to suggest. Thank you.
Ms. Newton, you have the floor.
Just wanted to let everybody know the Christmas Village is opening early this year. It's opening the Saturday after Thanksgiving. I do not have the time in front of me right now, but it will be on our website. KTV is actually advertising with a promo right now that is awesome. The other thing coming up is Sipping with Santa, which is December 1st, the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. So I don't believe we have a council meeting between then. That's at 6 o'clock at Chateau Golf and Country Club. Everyone can find out about those events on our website, on the Kenner calendar, and they have been advertised in the Kenner Star. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Moreno, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. The time is 5:30 to 8:30 on Saturday, November 28th.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, Mr. Arthur Tadella. Name and address, sir.
My name's Arthur Tadella. I reside at 1609 Hudson Street, Kenner, Louisiana, District 2. Council President, council members, administration. I want to apologize for not coming here before you earlier, but in the last 5 months, I have been dealing with 2 medical issues, which I have recovered from both of them. Praise God. But I'm here tonight to thank this council and its members for their contribution to the moving wall plaque that was dedicated last May, especially to Councilman Dominic Impostata for his generous gift, to Councilman at Large Keith Conley for his generous gift, also for him allowing our secretary, Ms. Debbie Albert, to speak before you back in April to give you our mission, our statement, and our goals, and some insight of what we're all about. My position is that I created it. The Vietnam Veterans Foundation of Kenner is registered with the Secretary of State, We are a nonprofit, and we like money, collect plenty of money. Because our goal is to put the money back into Veterans Park. In Veterans Services in November, early this month, the mayor, Mike Yenny, revealed 2 portraits of the park. These ideas were brought to him by both Ms. Albert and myself. We're now working with a Fortune 500 company to remove the flags and reposition them, which would be done by Mr. Maricoli's Recreation Department. And we're working with another company to create more grass area on the Williams Boulevard Veterans site. We're also working with some nurseries for more plants to cover the parking lot at the Alzheimer's Center. I forgot the name, forgive me. So there's more to come, and I thank you all for your generous contribution because it put us over the top. We needed to raise close to $3,500 so the sign could be completed and shipped here and dedicated on memorial services this year. Hopefully, the incoming administration will allow us to place a wreath there every Memorial Day because Memorial Day is for all those who have died in battle. And we have 7 of them from the Vietnam War, their names on the back of the plaque. At this time, I would like to tell you that Ms. Albert couldn't make it tonight. She wanted to speak, but she couldn't make it. Are there any questions? Please. And I thank you for your time.
Councilman Conley, you have the floor, sir.
Mr. Tedell, I just want to thank you for your service to our country, a Purple Heart recipient, as well as your continuing to support in this community through your work through Veterans Park and the several other charitable organizations that you do, you and Ms. Albert. So thank you on behalf of the council and the administration and the city as a whole.
Thank you very much, Councilman at Large.
Councilwoman DeFranchise, you have the floor.
And I was just about to say this, pretty much the same thing. I want to echo what Councilman Conley said. And in addition, I also wanted to mention to everyone that you, Mr. Tadello, along with Ms. Albert, who I spoke to earlier today, and so many volunteers were responsible for having the moving wall here. And I know you were instrumental in starting the whole project. So I wanted to thank you for your service and for doing that as well, to make sure that our veterans were well recognized. You know, too often we don't give them the thanks. We forget to say thank you for all their services. And bringing that wall here, I think, touched so many people and brought to mind the fact that we always in this country have to be grateful for the service that gives us the freedom that we take for granted too often. So thank you, sir.
You're welcome. One point of order is that I want to thank Mayor Mike Yenny, because without his support, his contribution, and help in raising money, none of this would have even got started. So he will be missed. I will miss him, but he was the driving force behind it. And as you see the sign out there, the plaque, I should say, he approved all of the plaque and its markings and designed. I only put it together to give to him, and he had the final approval of its location and design. So I thank you for your time.
Well, thank you, and I'd like to also thank Mayor Yenny, Councilman Conley, and also Councilman Impostata for their financial contributions.
Wait a minute, everybody contribute, not just them two, okay?
Okay, well, everyone, not only, if it wasn't financially a contribution, it was the support of it. And all of the events that yourself and the number of the veterans that support the city of Kenner in different events, by showing up for our Veterans Day and other events, and just to be able to be around to talk. As a young man myself, relatively young that is, who has never fought in a war, have never gone to any war, but never been in any military services, I thank you. I thank all of the young men and women who are fighting now to preserve our country. Considering all the things that are going on around the world, without your contributions and their contributions, where we live at now and the things that we sometimes take for granted would be at risk. So again, sir, thank you very much.
You're welcome. One thing we must remember, the price of freedom, freedom comes with a price, and it's a cherished thing. So thank you all, and I will let you know as we proceed with our 2 projects in Veterans Park as the year goes on.
Thank you.
Thank you, and God
And
bless
good
America.
health, too. Delara Albert? Is she here? Okay. Mr. Bob Pence? Okay. Mr. Richard Brown?
I'll pass, Mr. Chairman, so you can get out of here almost in record.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Miss Arlita Terrell. State your name and address, Ms. Terrell.
Arlita Terrell, 501 Webster Street, Kenner, Louisiana. I just wanted to come and just invite all of the members of the council to volunteer this Saturday. We will be distributing 750 Thanksgiving baskets to needy families. This past month, I guess for the last 6 weeks, we've been getting names from churches, different organizations, and just families themselves that's in need of food. And we received over 1,300 names, and we conducted a lottery and selected 750 names because that's the number of baskets that we're able to give out from donations that we've received. In part, some was from previous Sipping with Santa events, which, you know, Natalie talked about tonight. Is a very important event that's coming up, and I also encourage everyone to support that event because it helps keep the food bank whole. And it also helps us to put on events like we're having Saturday to give out these baskets to needy families. So I invite y'all to come and help us out. We'll be giving out baskets from 9 to 1, and we'll be in the parking lot opposite the Expedition Hall. And like everyone else, I want to thank the Recreation Department for the help that they give us to put this on. We work with CRC and other local businesses to make this possible for needy families. And so I can use some muscle power. Thank you. And last but not least, I wanted to, I was about to come up to the mic, Council Chairman, when you ask about the special intentions, because of course, J.C. Ross was a special person in the community, but I also wanted to add how special his wife was to the city of Kenner. Mary Ross was an employee of the Community Development Department, and she retired reluctantly earlier this year, and it was at the request of her husband because he wanted her, you know, home with her because he was ill. And so I just wanted to also echo your request and ask that everyone keep the family in prayer. His services are tomorrow night, and they're bringing him his body back on Saturday to I think it's Osaka, Mississippi, which is his hometown. So I ask y'all to keep them in prayers. And last but not least, I regret to have to share with you that Tamithia Shaw, our clerk of court, her grandmother, Miss Geneva Williams Shaw, who was 93 years old, passed away earlier this week. Her services will be Saturday at New Generation Fellowship Church. That church is on Roosevelt, pastored by Reverend Charles Wilson. And so I encourage you to keep Tamithia and her family in prayers. She was a devoted granddaughter. You know, grandparents are special. And so I just ask y'all to continue to pray for her. And I regret I didn't come up at the appropriate time to share this with the council. Thank you.
No, not a problem, Mr. Terrell, and thank you for coming up, especially for Mary, who was a member of your department, who always has been helpful throughout her tenure there to all of the people within the whole city of Kenner. So thank you. I was remiss in not naming her, but thank you for coming up now, and also the other individuals that you said. It's never a late time to do that. And just to respond upon your information, and Ms. Newton, this is the season we're getting into of giving and sharing, engaging. The season that the city of Kenner, I take pride in knowing that we have always extended ourselves to people within the city who are less fortunate than we are, and we take this time to show how we appreciate them and want to support them. First, I'd like to say yesterday at the Council of Aging, the Council of Aging Department, along with Chief, all of the police officers, the men and women, many of the council people here, Councilwoman DeFrances, Councilman Reyno, myself, Councilman Conley, we all, I think, showed up to show our support for the seniors that have given so much for the city of Kenner and Segura. That's right. As a policeman, I guess I'm getting confused about that, Councilman Segura. So, you know, we just want to show that has started. Also tomorrow at the Buddy Lawson Gym, there will be another event for Thanksgiving for the seniors that has been going on well before my time on the council. So for all the directors and everyone who's had a chance, even just to stop by, to be able to say hello to some of the people that will be there. It will be from 11 until 2 at the Buddy Lawson Gym, 1824 Short Street. There will be music, there will be door prizes, there will be young men and women who will come out to support the event and to do a lot of volunteer work. So we look forward to you to come out to support that also. And Mr. Terrell, I'm going to volunteer Councilman Conley for that muscle power that he just told me he's going to be right there. That's right. Yes, that's right. He said, but you got to give him a turkey. I don't know about that. That's right. So I don't see anybody else's name on the list. Yes, sir. Please, your name and address, sir.
My name is Oscar Cade Sr., 1507 Gordon Street, Kenner, Louisiana, zip 765. I come tonight to address the council, but first, before I do that, I would like to, some way say, give honor to our mayor president. I'm thinking of the time that I helped his uncle, Joe Yenny and Sal Lentini, the people that put together the green team for Kenner. I was a strong supporter for them. And I'm proud of the fact that Mike going to have 8 years with the parish. That should also help Kenner move forward because he have a lot of brilliant ideas. But I'm here tonight because I'm disturbed about something that affected me personally. And I've always been a person to stand up for the little people. I'm here tonight because of a situation that happened concerning my brother, James. He was an athlete. He had scholarships offered to him in the 9th grade from major universities with his basketball abilities. He also played baseball with Mike Marley, but he never got a chance to get visualized because they put him on the back row. But anyway, my brother went out on a party one night after my mom begged him not to go. And they slipped some LSD in his Coke. We found that out when he was having his seizures and convulsions and all, and got him to Charity Hospital. They had a chemist on duty that drew his blood to find out about that. So making a long story short, my brother's been struggling. He is good as an angel. Councilman Cal knew him because we played ball together and stuff. He was my shortstop. I had put together Cage Raiders, which was the team that carried Kenner name all over the state, because we put it on the back of our uniform. That's something that made Mr. Joe Yenny real happy. But nevertheless, I had an incident the other day whereas I found my brother in a bad situation where he was being kept. He was sleeping in a wash shed, being charged $500 a month. Going into the front door of the big house, that's where we thought he was staying. By him being a schizophrenic, you know, they was taking advantage of him. So I went looking for him, and I found him, at least where he was staying. He wasn't there. But nevertheless, getting to the point, Oshner Hospital told me to call the police when he started acting erratic in order to get him to the emergency room. That I did. We called the police. 2 units came out. My brother was standing in the yard. He took his shirt off, put it back on, took his shirt off, put it on again. Now, he was having problems, but he was in a calm stage at that time. Had he seen me, he may have went into a rage. The officers informed me that they couldn't take him to the emergency room. So one of the officers I spoke with, and he said his sergeant said he couldn't take him. Being people that are supposed to serve and protect, all the officer, the sergeant, or somebody should have said was dial 911, and the ambulance would come, and the police would escort the ambulance, and the emergency room would have to take him. I found that out at 2:30 in the morning from Oshner's Hospital. My brother had went into a rage, and he calmed himself down whereas he was talking to a baby doll. He actually thought the baby doll was alive. That's how his mind was messed up so bad. And my picture of that is that he was conversing with Jesus, because Jesus was born in a manger. So right away I said, well, James, I said, your baby is sick. We got to get him to the emergency room. So he said, well, go get the car. I'm going to put my shoes on. Well, I had already dialed 911 after the instruction from Oshner Hospital for the 3rd time, got the right instructions. Our officer showed up first, and I explained to him what transpired, and he and I were standing outside while my brother was patting the baby's back. Ambulance drove up. He got the ambulance, just as calm and peaceful, no problem. But what frightened the heck out of me is the fact that he was in the house when this took place about 2:30 in the morning. I had the door locked, took the key out, because previous to that, he took the key, opened the door, and went all the way to Tasty Donut in his house coat, underwear, and slippers, and sat at Tasty Donut counter. The rear end of the subdivision. I live in the front of Lincoln Manor. Now, something is wrong with the man. But nevertheless, I'm just here to make everybody aware, even you council people, try and help get this out. Let people know what to do, when to do. Because had my brother been around the corner and had a rage, no officer's going to let somebody out of their mind run up on him. He may end up shot, dead, hurt, or something behind something, whereas one of those officers should have been smart enough to tell me to dial 911. And I'm here because when he said his sergeant said he couldn't take him, somebody need to educate the sergeant. And this is what I'm here for, but not to bash us and not to put down our police chief or our department. I'm proud of him. But just make people know what to do, because we got a lot of people going under with mental stress, mental problems, and everything, and nobody want to help them. So thank you for your time. God bless. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody, and I love you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cade, and God bless to your brother, too.
Thank you.
Chief, you have the floor.
I spoke to Mr. Cade last week in reference to this incident. I don't think he understands when you dial 911, it comes to the police department. The police are dispatched. There's only two ways we're going to take somebody into custody. One is an order of protective custody issued by the coroner's office. The Kenner Police doesn't do it. The Jefferson Parish Sheriff's Office has to do it by law. The only other way is a physician's emergency committal, which is when someone is acting irrationally in a rage, East Jefferson Ambulance transports them to a hospital. They can be kept up to 72 hours on a physician's order. He forgot to tell you that the 2 policemen found him on the street corner, not acting. He wasn't acting up. He was not saying much of anything. He went back home. Mr. Cade was down the street watching the policeman. We're not just going to pick up somebody and take him to a hospital that isn't causing anything. What Mr. Cade should have done is drove his brother to Ochsner Hospital. He's already a patient of a doctor. So the brother keeps him in line, the brother keeps him calm. He called the police. We come out, we see if he's not acting up, we're not going to take him. So I just want to let you know, I spoke to him about it. He understands. The training we have is what I just described. So that's the way it's going to be until.
Mr. Kay, we already have gone past that.
That's
So
it.
but you can talk to the chief after, Mr. Cade, but,
I just want everybody to
but,
dial 911 and the emergency unit have to take them.
thank you, sir. Thank you, chief. The information that you.
I'll talk to him again. I've already spoken
Yes.
to him about it once. I'll talk to him
Yes,
again.
and I don't think there's any misgivings here. I think, like Mr. Cade has said, he respects what has happened. This is something personal, and for all of us, when something is personal for our loved ones, there's a different sense that we normally go into. So this is what it is. If the information that the chief gave, if we all can take that in and to be able to pass it on, I think it would be beneficial for everyone involved here. So, without any further ado, oh yes, I've been asked by everyone on the council to ask everyone in the council, everyone within the city of Kenner, from all of us to your family, a happy Thanksgiving, a blessed Thanksgiving, and hopefully you enjoy yourself with your family time. Thank you. Motion to adjourn. Second.